Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you think, man, life hurts? Wow, I'm actually hurting right now. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm here with you today, and we're going to talk really real today. We're going to go real baseline because this podcast is all about moving your life forward. It's all about fulfilling the purpose and the plans of God and who you uniquely are in this earth to be. But guess what, guys? In all the achieving and all the striving and all the doing and all the showing up, sometimes we have to sit down because sometimes we hurt. And I've been walking through, I'm just going to be really vulnerable and say that I've been walking through the last few weeks where my heart's hurt. I lost a dear friend to me and someone who had poured so much into me, like really poured into me, really just poured so much, taught me so much, prayed for me so much, encouraged me so much. And her presence not being in my life has been painful for me. And I'm always one that like, hey, I can shake it off. I'm naturally more optimistic. I'm more positive, but I find myself in a, wow, this hurts. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Amy, wasn't she older? Wasn't she this? Well, yeah. I'm happy for her. It was her time to go, but it doesn't change the fact that my heart still hurts. Right. And I've been thinking about all the what we walk through in life, the sorrows that we walk through, the pain that we walk through. And I think it's important to acknowledge that, hey, I'm walking through it. I'm not staying here, but I am walking through a process. And I think that we owe it to ourselves to actually walk through the process and not just put a Band-Aid on it with busyness and keep going. Now, I could easily put a Band-Aid on everything with busyness because I can keep myself so busy. But that is not how I'm choosing to walk through this. I'm choosing to walk through this because it's an inflection point. And a lot of times when we get hit with things, it's an inflection point for us to step back and go, everything in my life has just changed. And everything in my life has not just changed, but there is a big piece that's different, right? There's a big source of joy that's missing. There's a big supporter, a big cheerleader that's no longer there. So it is a missing thing. And like that might not be your story. Maybe you've just walked through a divorce. Maybe your divorce was final and it's the end of a chapter, an end of a season. Maybe you just got a really bad diagnosis, or maybe your spouse did. Maybe your family member did. But life happens. The Bible says that it rains on the just and on the unjust. Life just happens. And just because we walk with God and we walk, that doesn't mean that things don't happen. It just gives us the ability to walk through things like that. And so as I've been walking through this process, like it was her time to go. It's not a tragedy. She lived a great life, right? It's none of that. But my heart hurts. And I've been thinking about the value of that and how come it's impacting me so much. And this is the thing that it's done for me. Again, it's caused me to start to reach out again to people that I know actually are hurting, to be more sensitive to them. It's also caused me to have to refocus and rethink because emotionally I've been challenged. How do I move forward in things? Because I have to bring so much energy to my days. Like I bring a lot of energy to my days and to my times and to my appointments and to my meetings. Yet I'm doing it with a limp on the inside. And this is what I've found. My keys to moving out of this limping stage, and I'm limping still. I'll acknowledge that. I'm still limping. I'm still in a recovery mode. I'm still in a transitional mode with it. I want you to take these keys that I'm talking to you about and apply them to your own world. So there are going to be days that you don't want to get out of bed, or days that you're going to be like, oh, just the heartbreak of something weighs heavy on you. How do I walk myself out of it? Key number one is I have to operate in gratitude. I have to give thanks for what I do have. And I have a great life. Guys, a lot of our situations that make us really sad, it's not because we don't have a great life. It's not because we're not even grateful for the life that we have. But this is just a side spot that causes pain, right? So you may have walked through that divorce or that job setback or that business failure or whatever it is. And your life to somebody else is so enviable. Like somebody else would love to have your life. And I think that the key to moving out of pain points and to moving out of inflection points is to sit in the seat of gratitude. Gratitude is the seed that calls good things to you. Gratitude is the seed of moving into your future. Gratitude is the thing that calls you out of your current scenario, your current emotions, your current situation, and propels you forward and through. I'm speaking to you slowly on this because I think that gratitude is such a core thing that we have to get down deep. I'm grateful. Even if you just have to say, I'm grateful because I woke up this morning. I'm grateful because I have breath in my body. I'm grateful because I know that everyone wasn't afforded that opportunity. And I'm lucky that I'm alive. I'm grateful. Maybe it's your health, it's your family, it's the opportunities you have. Whatever it is that you need to show up and be grateful for because it is the seed to create more greatness. And it's the seed of getting yourself out of, you know, the sad feelings, the down feelings, right? So if you wake up in the morning and you're like, man, I'm in a funk, I'm sad, I'm going through it. Start with that. 5 things you're grateful for. And then I want you to get a punch list of people that you know that are going through difficulties or worse situations than you are, or that you just know are struggling. They're struggling with their relationships, or struggling in their finance, whatever it is, right? And I want you to call them, meet with them, schedule a time with them, and I want you to sow into their world. The only way out of our own pain, our own problems, our own sadness, our own sorrows is to contribute to the lives of another human being. You have to give out of an empty reservoir almost. Because I know when I give out of an empty, what would seem like a depleted reservoir, life comes back into me. When I sow life into other people, life comes back to me. When I sow like hope into somebody else, hope comes back to me. When I sow goodness into somebody else, goodness comes back to me. So that is a strategy. I find so many people that sit and just they sit in their negative feelings or their downcast feelings, and it paralyzes them and they don't move out of it. And then a month goes by and 6 months goes by and a year goes by and they haven't moved much and they've lost a lot. You see, in life, you're never staying still. You're never stagnant, right? So while you sit down and grieve, and you sit down and you walk through, you sit down and you acknowledge that oh, this hurts. The only way that you'll experience an abundant life again when you're walking through hell or you're walking through a pain point is you have to step out and you have to sow something for a different future. You have to sow goodness into someone else, sow into their pain point, sow into them. And the other day I was talking to somebody and they've got lots of reasons to be grateful because I'm an outsider looking in at their life. And I'm like, they have everything in the world to be grateful for. And yet they just keep staying in this pain point. And their life looks the exact same way that it looked 4 and 5 and 10 years ago. In fact, I thought to myself as I was listening to them talk, same record, different song. Definitely the same album though. And I was like, Lord, we have to, as human beings, have a bigger purpose on our life to get us out of bed, to move us through difficulty, to keep us going. And there's a scripture that says, sing, O barren, meaning have joy when you're walking through and things don't look like you want them to walk through. You have to make a decision to be joyful. You have to make a decision to choose to sow into another human being. You have to make a decision to get out of the bed and choose your happiness. You have to choose. And you have to choose that all in the midst of maybe your heart feels broken. Maybe you're sad, you feel hopeless, you feel whatever it might be. You have to make the decision. So the path out of any kind of difficulty, A, your gratitude, which is also a choice. B, your hit list. Get your top 5 people on a hit list and just sow into them, sow into them, sow into them, sow into them, right? Just reach out. reach out, reach out. Your path forward is always contribution. I'm telling you guys, whatever spot that you have a need in, whether it be financial, physical, emotional, relational, whatever you have need of, you have to sow into somebody else. It's kind of like the law of life. What you sow is what you get. What you sow is what you reap, right? So you have to move forward in life, to move out of and cast off the grave clothes of sorrow, of anguish, of whatever it be, loneliness or barrenness or anything that's not a fullness of life. To cast that thing off, you have to say, I'm going to choose happy. I'm going to choose to find good. And I'm going to choose to go bless another human being. I'm going to choose to sow into them without expectation. I'm just going to give to them. I'm going to sow to them. I'm going to be good to them. I'm going to reach out to them. Guess what happens? You'll find yourself being lifted and lifted and lifted and lifted. I know that when I'm going through the most difficult things, that's what I'm sowing. I'm just calling, I'm helping, I'm doing everything I can. I remember walking through, a health crisis 4 years ago. And at that time, when I walked through it, I was like, what am I going to do? And I had been, and many of you have heard this story, but I had been making some prayer calls for a friend of mine who has a ministry. And when I, told her what was going on, she's like, hey, back off. You don't need to do that. And I said to her, I knew it was an inflection point for me. I said to her, because I was struggling, man, I said, hey, actually double the calls I'll make. Double the calls, because I'm going to pray for more people. I'm going to encourage more people, and everything I can do, I'm just going to sow encouragement and blessing to people. That's how I'm going to walk myself out of the situation. I just knew deep down on the inside, the thing that I needed was the thing I need to do for somebody. So if you're facing a health issue or a health crisis, go pray for someone else who's in a worse spot. Go pray for someone else's healing. You're in a financial situation, go help another person financially. You're in a relationship barren crisis area, go help another. Go be a friend to somebody. Go do something for somebody else. You feel low, depressed. Guess what? There are people out there that have great reasons to be low and depressed, right? But nothing shifts your perspective like looking at another human being and recognizing, you know what? I might be walking through this, but it's not that. And be in extreme gratitude, be grateful, and go help that person. Today, I had some follow-up appointments, and I walked into the clinic and I looked around. And again, I was just struck with the fact that there's, probably a young teenager there, another young girl. And my heart broke. And it brought me back again to gratitude, beyond gratitude, beyond gratitude. And when I walked out of there, I thought, man, I know a few people that are walking through horrible right now. I need to reach out to them. I need to send them something. I need to encourage them. I need to pray for them. The way out of anything, the path forward, the path that's bright, the path that's effective, the path that has influence and fills your soul is the path of service, the path of contribution, the path of giving it away with expecting nothing in return, just sowing into people's lives, sowing goodness, sowing hope, sowing joy into their life. I always say I'm a hope dealer. I'm an agent of change. I want to sow so much hope into people that they begin to believe that that their life can be completely different and that they have a great hope and a great future. I'm going to sow hope into your world. I'm going to show you who I think you are. I'm going to show you your greatness. I'm going to point out your skill sets. I'm going to hit your limitations. I'm going to go to war on your limitations because I'm that hope dealer. I'm going to infuse you with hope. But here's the thing. I know that as I'm operating that, it's like my go-to principle. So even as I've walked through these last few weeks, and here's the thing, guys, she lived a long, strong, healthy, wonderful, wonderful life. It was time for her to go to heaven, but it still hurts my heart. It's still a vacant space that's not there, right? And I've struggled with it way more than I thought that I would. And it's challenged me emotionally. And I've had to make a decision. The joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Because when you get into a soft spot emotionally where you're like, oh, I'm challenged, everything else seems to overwhelm you. When you're strong emotionally, you can take it all on. When you're like, yeah, I got this, you can go and you'll take it all on. But when you're wounded or when you're not feeling so good or you're down, man, everything starts to overwhelm. So the path out, gratitude, your 5-point list. Who am I going to go get? Who am I going to go track down and be good to and sow into? Who's got it worse than I do? Right? I'm going to do that. Guys, those two principles alone, the gratitude and going and just doing and serving another human being, contributing to their lives, I'm telling you, and making the choice to be happy. Sing, oh, barren. Man, sing, the one that probably miscarried so many times, the one that looked around and saw all of her friends pregnant and she wasn't, the one, like literally it says, sing, oh barren, for you who did not bear will be the mother of many, right? So sing, oh barren. There is a process when you are walking through a barren time, a discouraged time, an upset time, when you can contribute to the life of another human being, you can give to them, you can pour into them. It will come back to you. When you decide to make a decision, I'm going to sing over my future. I'm going to prophesy greatness over my future. When you walk through a dark night of the soul, you have to be prophesying greatness over you. You have to be prophesying because remember, whatever follows I am follows your life. So everything you get ready to say, you have to remember, put that caveat on there. And that's exactly how I want it to be. So if you're going to say, hey, whatever it is you're going to be, and that's exactly how I want it to be, it'll really shut your mouth up. You won't say a lot of things, but sing over your life, speak over your life, prophesy over your life, prophesy greatness, prophesy fulfillment, prophesy abundance, prophesy over, speak, right? I can't tell you how much power is in that, but the way out is gratitude, sowing into other people, and then singing over your situation, prophesying over, speaking the opposite of how you feel into your current circumstance. Guys, we all go through bumps and bruises. We all get knocked down. But here is the secret in life. If you don't quit, you win. If you don't quit, the storm does run out of rain. If you don't quit, you're going to come out on the other side of transformed, on fire, magnificent, more sticky, more impactful human being because you're created for more. So remember this, you truly are more. Thanks so much for listening. If this has helped you at all, please like it. Please share it. I would so appreciate it. And guys, I'm going to be launching this Bible study. I did a 30-day devotional called You Win. It is going to be happening on Thursday, starting Thursday, March 26th, I believe. Let me just check this out again so I don't screw the date up. Thursday, March 27th, 6 a.m. I'm going to be sending out some information, starting to post some socials on it, but we're going to dive into the devotional, You Win. I just need to reinforce that in you, that the Bible is meant for to infuse you with hope. Hope is the magnet that draws miracles and substance to your life. So we'll be starting that, and I hope to see you on it. So thanks so much. Be blessed.